Are you looking for a small car that won't cost too much to buy and maintain? Plus, you'd like it to have all the same modern features you'd find in high-end, premium cars. Perhaps that's the car that might appeal to you. So let's get a better look at the third-generation Nissan Note and see exactly what it has to offer. Overview. The Nissan Note, which we will examine in more detail, is the third generation whose production started in 2020. This sleek gray, compact car is the Japanese-specification mid-level, pre-facelift version that debuted in 2024. It must be admitted that as far as its styling is concerned, the Note is full of appeal. Sharp edges, clean lines, a pure, dynamic form, a very expressive overall compact silhouette. Viewed from the front, the Note looks very dynamic, even though the car presented here is equipped with the entry-level variant of the headlights, halogen, instead of the lens-driven LEDs in higher specifications. The appearance of the front end can also vary slightly depending on the trim type. Its 5-door silhouette gives the impression of a rather large car, but this is not the case at all. Its generous 2.58 meters wheelbase suggests a spacious cabin, though we'll take a closer look to see if that's true. The Note comes as standard with 16-inch wheels here as steel rims with hubcaps. Higher trim levels run on alloy wheels, which are a real design highlight. Note, with its large, low-profile tires, 13 centimeters ground clearance, and clean, compact body, may give the impression of being a much larger vehicle. However, it is actually only 4.4 meters in length. This is exactly the same length as the second-generation Toyota Aqua, often being compared to as a direct competitor. Overall width of the Note is 169 centimeters with a height of 152 centimeters. Seen from behind, it looks appealing. The long horizontal lines make the Note appear wider and lower than it actually is. While all is carefully designed, it is important to take into account the cost-cutting measures implemented by Nissan, given the vehicle's cost-to-performance ratio. Little nuances, such as here, like the halved horizontal tail lamp strip, may be nothing, but a little distaste arises. Still, we can't complain too much. The rear end looks good, with a sports hot hatch-like bumper imitating a diffuser and a matching tailgate spoiler. The Nissan Note is available in numerous versions for the Japanese market. The Note stands out as the standard model. Another option is the Nissan Note Autech. Next, the most luxurious variant of the car is available under the name of Aura. And lastly, we have Nismo variants of both lines intended for those expecting exciting and sporty sensations. Now, let's get back to the best value model in terms of overall performance, and take a look at how Note e-Power drives and what you can expect in terms of safety and comfort. Ride quality and chassis. The third-generation Note is a completely re-engineered model. But what's it like to ride? Quite pleasing, indeed, with more advantages than drawbacks. Let's start with the suspension. Calibrated quite softly, it handles road irregularities surprisingly well despite the large, low-profile tires. At this point, it is relevant to mention that the Note can be front-wheel drive, like the model presented here, or four-wheel drive. While the dynamic silhouette in some ways expresses the sporty aspirations of this compact hatchback, the Note is not exactly a car that drives like one. Excluding the Nismo version, the Note is a car that is primarily intended for use in the city and on the outskirts. Its turning radius of 4.9 meters means it is particularly maneuverable. By comparison, the Toyota Aqua needs 5.2 meters. In urban driving conditions, this is an enormous difference. The interior is relatively quiet. You will appreciate it, especially in the city. A factor contributing to this is the e-Power drive, on which we will focus end of the presentation. On board, a range of driving aids, including active cruise control, electric parking brake and hill holder, prove very useful in day-to-day use. Moreover, you can drive in a one-pedal mode where the accelerator pedal also has a brake function just like in an electric car. Indeed, the Note e-Power is an electric car with an internal combustion engine that produces electricity to propel the vehicle. As previously stated, the suspension is quite soft, but the interior is affected by vibrations that are noticeable on the floor and the steering wheel. An additional source of disturbance is the noise coming from the wheel arches area. At higher speeds, the road surface may appear to be of substandard quality, but this is not the case. There is room for improvement with regard to refinement and attention to detail in terms of noise dampening and resonance. It is evident that certain compromises have been made to achieve a competitive price point. Ultimately, it is a well-calculated trade-off. Interior and luggage space. Let's move on to the interior. To start with, getting in isn't particularly satisfying. Due to the sharply raked windscreen, the cabin feels rather tight. Drivers taller than 175 centimeters may find it slightly cramped. All-round visibility, however, is more than satisfactory. The front pillars are impressively slim, which is a real advantage in busy urban traffic. Rear visibility is equally good, aided by a digital rear view mirror and a 360-degree camera system that makes even the most awkward parking maneuvers quick, easy, and stress-free. The front seats are comfortable. Depending on trim level, seats may vary slightly by design and may have different upholstery, as well as optional heating. On top models, the headrests feature integrated speakers. Finishing materials are not of the highest quality. This is certainly one of the areas where Nissan falls short. Design-wise, it is fine and pleasing to look at, but the plastics nor their fit are any match for the design. The dashboard is nice and well functional. There are cup holders on the side panels at the doors. Digital instrument cluster looks attractive, yet may also leave a certain disappointment, as the surface of the display is much smaller than the glass-like area it's embedded into. Multimedia system on this trim level has a reduced screen size compared to the top models. Wired Android Auto and Apple CarPlay are on board. Automatic air conditioning, yet only single zone, and no rear seat vents either. Storage compartments are small and not numerous. There is a wireless phone charger, as well as additional USB sockets. The rear is a little tight. Although the doors open wide, the door opening at the bottom is narrow, not much room for feet. Occupants over 175 centimeters will be pushing their knees against the backrests of the front seats. The middle seat is also rather cramped, due to the high floor bulge significantly affecting the legroom. Not much space is left over the head. However, certain pros include fully retractable rear glazing, plus a tilt-adjustable backrest. The luggage compartment of the front-wheel drive version is significantly deeper than that of the four-wheel drive variant. The loading aperture is 105 centimeters wide and 71 centimeters high. At approximately 340 liters, there is sufficient space to accommodate 4 large suitcases or a baby stroller. Folding the seats generates extra space for longer loads. Price at BEFORWARD. Similar Nissan Note you can buy at BEFORWARD. The third generation E13 model starts from around $5,500. Explore our extensive selection Nissan Note vehicles at BEFORWARD.JP. Check the link in the description below for current stock and pricing. Our inventory is updated daily. Engine and fuel economy. The Note Drive is one of its greatest strengths. Nissan e-Power is basically an electric car with a power generator and battery. The internal combustion engine is a 1.2-liter, 3-cylinder, HR12D naturally aspirated unit rated at just 82 PS. But this is hardly useful information from the point of view of the driving experience. The Note is powered by a 116 PS electric engine with a staggering 280 Nm of torque. These figures may not be convincing on paper, but in reality, they are quite overwhelming. Full power is available practically from the start, so the ride is very pleasant and dynamic. The car has 3 drive modes, each with slightly different characteristics. Fast switching between Sport, Eco and Normal makes it a lot of fun. EV mode allows you to drive in almost complete silence for around 3.3 kilometers in the city. There are also some possible shortcomings of e-Power. It can be noisy when constantly under acceleration, for example up a large hill on the highway. Still, the Note e-Power is generally quieter than a typical compact with CVT transmission. The fuel tank holds 36 liters. The average consumption for the two-wheel drive version is around 24 kilometers per liter, which translates to roughly 4.16 liters per 100 kilometers. The four-wheel drive version uses about 20% more. Depending on driving style, road conditions, tire width, and outside temperature, real-world fuel consumption typically ranges between 19 and 33 kilometers per liter, or 2.9 to 5.3 liters per 100 kilometers. Given the 280 Nm of torque, this is a remarkable result. Browse BEFORWARD's extensive inventory to find a car that suits your needs and budget. Visit BEFORWARD.JP. You can also send your inquiries to top@BEFORWARD.JP.